I just wanted to address a topic that's come up a few times that I think is really important for us. At least I hadn't thought about it this way until it was kind of in my face. So I really want to talk about adoption, abortion, and abolitionism, right? Those three words that kind of almost spelled similarly, and how we should see it as Christians. And then I really want to just kind of give a quick overview of where we're going in the next 6 months as Golden State abolitionists and how you can get involved. So please bear with this video. I'll try to keep it short. I've got about 7 minutes till I got to pick my daughter up. So abortion, right, is a great national sin. Not only is it a sin, as abolitionists do we believe it's a sin because it's murder, but it's also a sin because of the apathy of the Christian church existing in the midst of it, right? Like, there are churches everywhere in this country, and within a few miles of those churches, babies are being murdered, and the sidewalks are empty. Not to mention the pro-life bills compromising on justice, right? Those are all talking points which are valid. Theological look at the Norman Statement if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Norman Statement on abolition. But I want to get to how I was reaching out to this church that's theologically sound. It's kind of a church I go to when I'm visiting my home city. People I love. I've spent time with the pastor, and I'm talking to a missions director. But a response I got when I asked about maybe setting up an event, an info session about abolition, or even a pro-life first abolition discussion, debate, who knows, I got a pushback. And the big pushback I got was like, I don't think our church is ready for that. And so I pushed and said, what do you mean? And he said, well, new mission director. He's like, hey, the problem is I can't even get them to go down across the street to their neighbor to evangelize. So I don't think people are ready to, go to abortion mill ministry. And now on the surface, I can understand that. I sympathize with what he's saying. But I think it's a category error, because yes, if your church is not evangelizing their neighbors, if they're not being faithful witnesses, that's a sin issue, right? But abortion ministry is not just about evangelism, right? We're not just keeping it about the gospel. We're trying to be faithful to rescue those being led away to death and hold those back who are stumbling to the slaughter, and execute justice in our nation. And so Christians not being at the mills, Christians not petitioning the government, Christians not going in public and bringing abortion into the public square and calling out what it is a different issue, right? They're rooted in the gospel, but it's different than personal evangelism, although it's filled with evangelism. I share the gospel more when I'm holding an abortion sign than I do, holding a gospel sign, honestly. And abolitionists who go out and do the work know what I'm talking about. But if you're still with me, what I really wanted to get to is how he said this rhetoric, right? He basically said, hey, I need to get them out evangelizing. And I really want to focus on the theology of adoption and the essential nature of adoption as the church, because it's an answer to abortion. I want people to have that as a solution. And again, I sympathize, like if your Christian church is turning away the opportunity to adopt babies, right? If you don't have Christians in your church who are open to adoption, or at least as a church you're willing to finance and fund adoption, then we are neglecting fatherless children. That is the church's job. But to say something, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I think this comes from a deep-rooted pro-life kind of ism, but to say that adoption is at all, like 1% or at all, a solution to abortion, to say that if there were more people adopting, there would be less abortions, I think is both a lie, misleading, but also I think it could be, I don't want to say sinful as much as just a fruit of apathy. It's a fruit of seeing abortion as an issue that we need to fix practically because it's always going to exist, rather than it's murder, and we should not allow murder, and we should legislatively ban murder and punish murder. We just need to help people choose life, right? And so I guess the root of what I'm getting at here is this pastor whom I care for and I'm trying to work with. He said that and it rubbed me the wrong way, and I prayed about it like 2 or 3 days in a row driving, and then it hit me. Why it rubbed me the wrong way is because it's the same arguments we get almost weekly at the abortion mill, where the pro-choice escorts, death escorts, right, say, how many babies have you adopted this week, Jacob? Why don't you go adopt babies? There's so many babies in foster care, which there's not really babies in foster. That's a whole nother conversation. But they're basically saying, hey, go do this thing that would help what you want. And I politely and now sharply as well tell them, hey, well, sir, there's one guy in particular, his name's Rand. And I'm like, Rand, do me a favor. Every lady that walks in and you hug them and give them a goodie bag, let them know that that man in the red shirt would adopt their baby if they don't want to kill it. And of course he laughs at that, and I call out to the women and say, I will adopt your baby. I will, let me care for you. We'll throw a baby shower, and if you can't keep it, like if you feel like you can't be a mother, let us take your child and protect your child with you. And they, I quote, say, I would rather kill this child than let some religious nut job or adopt it, or I ain't, not gonna let some white guy adopt my baby. I'm gonna kill this baby, quotes. And my abolitionists, in the comments, you can let me know, right? You've heard that too, the ones who go out into the clinics. So in the end, I just wanted to share this to get it off my chest, but also challenge you. If you're listening so far and you're still here, good for you, 5 minutes. Appreciate the time, right? If you've at all thought adoption's the solution to abortion, that's a pro-life lie. It's just like saying diaper drives will solve abortion. Caring for women will solve the issue of abortion. It won't. The issue of abortion is the legal murder of children, and as long as it's legal, it will continue. If we ban it, then yes, we should continue to help mothers who can't raise their children. We should help support them, single mothers, yada, yada, right? But a church should not neglect getting involved in abolition, anti-abortion ministry because they want to have a theology of adoption. I think that is an error, and I appreciate your prayers. I seek to engage with this pastor. Because it's a tough one. So anyways, with that, I got to get going. I wanted to just put this out. I'm going to put a formal email out, but as we're launching as a movement in January into a formal 501c4, I'm going to begin divorcing my personal content, my personal evangelism, my street work, the videos, divorcing that a bit from Golden State abolitionists, because I really want Golden State to be not about me, but about the people that were gathering together to lobby our local and state representatives, do the work of abolition, and then hopefully have a lot of content for multiple people doing evangelism. So I might branch out to a different channel. I might still share, who knows. But with that, if you have skills that you think would be helpful to the cause, specifically video editing, if you record video of ministry and you want to use it, if you're good at answering emails or keeping databases, if you're looking to help connect and have phone calls with people and answer questions, social media manager kind of stuff, right? If you're looking to respond to YouTube comments, respond to Instagram comments, or just check messages and you want to help the cause, please send me an email. DM me, hit me up on whatever you're watching this on, or just send it to jacob@goldenstateabolitionist.com. Because I'm going to need help. I need help now, if I'm honest. I'm kind of up to my neck and above on unfinished tasks because this is not my full-time job. And I want to continue the momentum, and part of that is being humble enough to ask for help. So if you want to help, please let me know. We'll have a phone call. We'll see what expectations and priorities we can set and see how you can help with this this growing movement that God has blessed us with. And lastly, for my personal evangelism, I'm going to send out an email, but I am looking to upgrade some of my equipment, and I'm going to be putting out just hey, if you want to financially support, let me know, because I've had lots of folks ask how they can financially support my personal work, and it'd be nice to share that burden as we look to maybe get better camera content, a better camera, better audio recording, maybe even a computer to do the editing and stuff, as well as the software required. It's a burden I've been able to bear in my personal family finances, but it'd be nice to share that if anybody feels led to join in that cause. So I'll be sending info out about that. But in the end, thank you for listening this far. I appreciate all your support and your prayers. Please be praying as we look to finalize up some documents about how we want to launch our movement, some formal, almost not a confession of faith, but just a document laying out what we're about, and then getting our board of trustees, our board of directors, people who are board of directors, not trustees, but board of directors who will help kind of manage the organization so we can be more effective. So appreciate your prayers. God bless from the great state of California.